No, the title is not a joke. I wish that it were. This video is going to be about several subjects. We'll see how this goes. So let's start with this. Deja vu is more than just you blanking out or daydreaming for a second. Deja vu is a real and valiant look into aspects of your future and how those aspects can shift. I may have to shift these blinds down because I'm getting blinded. I can't see right now. Hold on one second. How rude of me. And I still can't see. I'm not sure what's going on here. That's even worse. Let me try. Maybe I can go this way and get out of that sun a little bit. That's crazy intense, bright. Sorry guys. Once again, I feel like David Wilcock and the unprofessional person who gets up and goes to do something or goes to look for something. So deja vu is an indication to you that you're about to experience a shift in your timeline. So we're going to talk about deja vu. We're going to talk about, and this is a really hot topic. I was on Facebook for a total of 3 minutes yesterday, and I saw some very strange arguments from some people claiming to be enlightened about channeling and how it was evil and that. So we're going to talk about deja vu. We're going to talk about channeling versus your body as a conduit. We're going to talk about how your body physically reacts to telepathic communication. What is our real mission here? Does Earth retrograde and information overload that I see so many people experiencing at this moment? So that's what we're going to talk about. Hello, Terrell. Hello, Queen Star Sophia. And hello, Carrie. How's it going? I said hi to you. Now the comments are gone. You guys know the normal drill. I can see you and then I can't. Okay. That sun was crazy for a second. I couldn't see anything. Okay. So, okay. I think we got this now. I can see, and hopefully you guys can see too. There's a million things I could talk about. People are acting crazy, but that was really what last video was about, was people acting crazy. So we don't need to delve into that for a second time. Planetary energy, other bodies of planetary energy do affect us. And a lot of times I see people arguing or debating about, does Mercury retrograde really have an effect on us? Are we letting all these planetary ideas or planetary notions or planetary energies affect us, affect how we are thinking? Because of course, whatever we give credence to, whatever we give weight and momentum to does affect us. Now, I'll say with everything that does affect us is that it is a 50-50 job, right? So it's 50% earth energy, universal energy, cosmic energy, energy flow coming into planet Earth, and it's 50% how we look at it, what we believe, what we perceive, and what we experience. So no, Mercury retrograde is not the ruler of your life. But I tell you what, this Mercury retrograde was the strongest, most systematic, delayed response in technology that I've ever seen from a Mercury retrograde. Now, Mercury retrograde is about communication, so that can affect your speech, what you're not willing to hold on to anymore, what you want to, what secrets you want to expose, right? And there are other things that contribute to that energy. But Mercury is about communication, and whether that's the communication coming out of your mouth or communication as a broad spectrum, like the internet, the telephone, all of these things. I have never seen such an intense Mercury retrograde. It was almost for 12 days, almost impossible to make a phone call. And even when I was on YouTube, I was playing one video, but it was actually showing me a TikTok video while I was watching or listening to the video that I actually intended to listen to. So the point of this is, yes, it does affect us. No, it's not the ruler of our life, and no, it doesn't have complete control over us. But like everything else, if we could meet in the middle somewhere between it has no effect on me and it rules my life, that's where you're gonna in that happy sweet spot, in that happy medium, is where you're gonna find the truth of it. Everything does affect us. We are finally out of Mars retrograde, which I think was there for 4 or 5 months, and that's a lot of aggression and things like that. So as soon as Mars left retrograde, things began to calm down. And as I'm speaking, I see my camera going from dark to light again. So we only have, let's see, what is today? We have 2 more days of Mercury retrograde. So it's hot rod fever. We're at January 16th here in Ohio, and I'm not sure the exact degree. I'd say it's 64 or 65. When I went out to jog, I ended up in nothing but a tank top with after the first mile and a half, and this is really unusual weather, but it's beautiful, and it's just the kind of day I ordered today. Ask apartment number 4 about me ordering the weather. I'll never say her name probably, but I always talk about apartment number 4. She looks out the window in the morning and she texts me and she said, "Did you order 60 degrees and sunshine?" Yes, I did. So I'm always ordering the weather without interfering with Mother Nature. So, first thing on the list here is deja vu. Now, we all have deja vu. There are different kinds of deja vu, as I noticed. I remember experiencing deja vu all the way back to a child, but it wasn't until 2015 that really started to alter for me. And I think this is another one of those things that are just a part of the ascension path. Now, probably most people don't write things down to the extent that I do, but it's something I've been keeping track of for a long time. So in 2016, in around June of 2016, I was supposed to move to Santa Maria, California. And the week prior to my moving there, at work, it made it really difficult to concentrate on work. Luckily, I'm not an engineer or an accountant or anything. It was more of a physical labor job, but there was paperwork and math and all kinds of things. So long story short, in my preparation for the move to Santa Maria, at work, I was in deja vu for 3 days straight, and not the entire day, but I would go into deja vu. Within that deja vu, I would have deja vu, and I'd be standing at work going, "Oh my God, how long is this deja vu going to last?" So it lasted on and off for 3 days, and all I can tell you is I was in deja vu actually more than I was in normal reality. What's normal anymore? I don't know. I'm not sure. But anyway, so time is not linear. It's not a line between the past, the present, and the future, as most of you know. It's more of a circle or a sphere of energy. So at any time, by yourself or with help from other people, you can tap into your past or your future if you want to. Deja vu is a time when you energetically and spontaneously, your brain goes into this mode where you are jumping around in that sphere of time. So you may see some really unusual things. I have definitely seen some unusual things within that deja vu. So it's usually for me, it's seeing something, it's hearing something, it's feeling something, and it's usually all three. But since time is not actually a linear thing, at any time we can drop into some other time point or some other timeline or some even parallel reality. So while I'm trying to work for 3 days in a row, and this was the first time I'd ever experienced a deja vu with this kind of intensity. Every time I get on to make a video, apartment number 3 takes the dogs out, and they are the noisiest dogs ever. But so at any time we can that we're having deja vu, it is an access to another part of time. And a lot of times it is giving us an indication about what can happen. Now, deja vu happens for me, it feels like it's something that's happening within the brain itself. So the memory storage of the brain is accessing a different point in a timeline. Now, you're probably not going to know whether that's the past or the future unless you have something to gauge it by, like the way you look, your age, the way people are dressed, something like that. Here's what I noticed though, and it doesn't happen with the occasional deja vu, but when you have very strong deja vu, that's a timeline shift. So 3 days of deja vu, in about, I think, 3 or 4 days after that, that plan to move to Santa Maria, California was canceled. That was the first time that I learned that deja vu was in an equation with some sort of timeline shift. So I had gone to California anyway later to Hollywood, or to North Hollywood, to LA. And when I was there, I experienced the same thing again in 2016. It was about 8 or 9 months later, where I had deja vu for 2 days straight. Now, this time I'm thinking back to the last time, thinking, oh, surely I'm not going to move. I've only been here, I don't know, I think I was there maybe 60 days or 65 days or something like that. And I'm like, where would I even go? Because at the time I had no money to go anywhere. So, but it was really interesting because I ended up being in a household situation where mother and daughter had a lot of things that they needed to work out for each other. So I decided to, upon Chris's idea, go down to Tijuana and hang out with Chris just for the weekend and be by the ocean. Only that exploded in my face when the person that I lived with didn't trust that I just went down there for the weekend, even though I wrote her a 3-page letter about why I was going down there, and her needed to work stuff out with her daughter. And I didn't want my energy and my presence to interfere with her working things out with her daughter. So I went to Tijuana. Once I was there for 2 days, she told me, don't bother coming back and you can't have your stuff. So that was the second time that deja vu meant a physical relocation for me. And deja vu can be weird and stupid, and a lot of times, you'll absolutely blow it off. Let me give you a stupid example of that. I'm upstairs talking to my neighbor. It's Mercury retrograde. I know better than to talk and try to do anything on my phone. But I had not been on Telegram since 11/11, okay? So I went back into Telegram. I go in there and I don't even have an account anymore. It's like I'm gone. I got to sign back in, my country code and everything. So I did that. And then when I did, it put me back into the last conversation that I had, but it had erased every conversation I'd ever had in Telegram. So everything was gone. And I looked down and there's 3 dots and there's this little sticker. And I was like, no, Mercury retrograde, no, Mercury retrograde. Please, please, please do not message this person. Too late. And apartment number 4 said, what's going on with you in that phone? Why are you yelling at your phone? And I said, you won't even believe this. but I just sent a sticker to someone, and I did not mean to do that. And she goes, well, what kind of sticker was it? And I said, I don't know. It could have been a cowboy or a witch. I honestly can't even tell what it is. And she goes, what do you mean you sent a sticker and you don't know how you did it and you don't even know what the sticker was? So here I am explaining to her that it was like some Japanimation. It was like Japanimation, somebody's artistic interpretation. But honestly, I mean, it wasn't a pleasant sticker. But I couldn't tell if it was. I couldn't tell if it was a witch or a cowboy. And I'm sitting there explaining this to her, and all of a sudden, I just go way out into this deja vu, and she's compartment number 4 is compounding my deja vu because she's like, how can you not know there's a big difference between a cowboy and a witch? And I'm trying to explain like artistic expression or Mercury retrograde or whatever. And the more I talk to her and the more she talks back, the deeper it pushes me into this deja vu. So maybe I'm moving. I don't know. If I'm moving, it's going to be somewhere where I can have a dog, and it's going to be on the water. And yeah, I have a plan with a couple people of things. If I do not start manifesting certain things in my life pretty soon, there's a couple of us that just decided to head on down to Mexico and live the beach life. So deja vu is you getting a glimpse of something that's about to happen. And it's weird and we want to brush it off, and it is very bizarre. But it starts with the brain. So if you go into the deja vu, starting with the brain, drop down into your heart space to try to figure out what it's really telling you. So it doesn't have to be a physical move or a physical relocation, you moving or someone moving to you. It could be either one. It all could also could just be a journey in your heart, a journey in your mind. Either way, for you, deja vu equals a timeline shift. All the stuff that's going on, all the stuff that we're capable of is absolutely fascinating to me. Now, I know you guys that the comments go on and off and do whatever the heck they want to, but just so you know, I do rewatch the video on my computer, and so I do see your comments later when I watch. So thank you guys for commenting. And I have no way of commenting back on there, just so you know. And thank you for the people that have reached out to me, because ascension is not about me going to a mountain and becoming a guru. It's not about me taking a lantern and going to the woods and hermiting, okay? Even though it's really tempting, and I know we've been doing that for so long, this is one of the things, one of the parts and pieces of the timeline that we're shifting out of right now, because ascension is a community project. And honestly, there are so many of you that I don't even know how I could do what I do, or deal with the things that have gone on without your support, and without your sharing, because there's so many crazy experiences, or what you may deem as a crazy experience, or initially what I may deem as a crazy experience happening to us. But then when I talk to you about it, you're like, well, I'm having the same things going on with me, and it's coming out this way, and it's so similar to the way it's coming out, but I haven't talked to anybody about it. So it's important for us. It's important for everybody on the ascension timeline to communicate with others on the ascension timeline. The first wave is a little bit more challenging in communication, because we have so many things going on in our bodies and our lives that we can't even put into words. And so that's what I try to do. I make note of the feeling and the change and shift in energy, and then I write those things down, and then I come to you. recently I've started making just short, like 30-second or 1 minute videos for reels, because there's so much of this information that I feel like is really important. I also feel like ADD is a part of ascension, right? And people a lot of times don't want to sit through a 40-minute video or these hour and 20-minute videos I've been making for the last month. So I'm breaking down the really, what I feel like are the really important parts and pieces to the people that don't want to watch a whole video. So thank you for your support on those reels as well, and your support all the way around. But Ascension is a community project, and as easy as it is some days to want to hide or cry or yell or scream or just lift weights or run as fast as you can, it's so important to get those things out, because I've had so many things that are personal and embarrassing and, just really, really seem off the rails when trying to open up and communicate about. But I do it anyway, and you guys do it with me anyway, and it gives us more pieces to the puzzle, because again, Ascension is not about hermiting or hiding from 3D or hiding from responsibility or burying your burden. It's about sharing with other people the experiences of the Ascension journey to help other people with those experiences as well. The next thing that, and I swear I really don't want to make this an hour and 20-minute video. I keep on doing that. I'm going to try my best. I know I'm like the Scorpio in me wants to control it. Wants to control the 3D reality. Okay, we're just going to ignore that. Let's speak for a few minutes about channeling versus your body as a conduit on planet Earth. Okay. People are confused. People are getting bent out of shape. People are getting, what I saw yesterday was extremely hostile, and I couldn't even believe it. And I don't usually unfriend people for a difference of opinion, but what I saw yesterday blew my mind. So, your body, your light body, your ball of beautiful energy, and a human body and an avatar is a channel. You're a conduit. You're a conduit for information. You're a conduit for energies. You're a conduit for how other people feel about you, even when they're not speaking to you. You are a constant conduit for energy. You are constantly channeling. Now, that's why sometimes we will resonate with someone talking about Mercury retrograde. Let's say you didn't know that Mercury retrograde this time was so close to Venus that the communication in retrograde was going to be about feelings and passion and love. Okay, so you find that out through social media, right? And you're like, oh, wow, that makes so much sense, because in this retrograde, my friend Kathy, who had 5 exes in one day, you go on with your bad self, Kathy. I did not experience anything like that. But what I'm saying is we resonate with things because something comes to our attention, like Mercury retrograde in Venus, communication and emotion and love and emotionality, right? And we're like, oh, that makes so much sense, because your body, your central tube here, is a channel for information. And some people that comes through as words, sometimes it comes through as feelings, sometimes it comes through as visions to you. And for some people, it will come through as all of those things. So that is you being a conduit. I may pick up on some strange energy. I may start to write about it, and then I'll see in my, Facebook feed, Mars is in retrograde, and this means this, and this. And that's what I was sitting here writing about. So even though I didn't know anything about it, even though I'm not an astrologist, that is bleeding through to me energetically, because I am a conduit of light on planet Earth. So we are a channel. We are a channel for beautiful energy. We are a channel for how your partner may be feeling about you. You're a channel for what maybe your family wants to say to you. You're a channel for everything, people, places, and things. Your body is a conduit of light, and you are a channel. So if I say, oh, I channeled something from higher self, and here's what it is, that's way different than using your body as a channeling device for something external to you that is a being. So when you're using your body for what it is, it's a conduit of light, it's a channel. You're pulling in planetary feelings or planetary energy or cosmic energy or energy from your friends and family. That is you being a channel or conduit. When I'm talking about channeling, what I mean is that I sit here and I go into an altered state and I let another being, inner earth, interdimensional, off planet body, come through my body and speak. Now, people have very different opinions about it, but I don't think it's fair when we call ourselves a channel or when people assume that we are channeling a being when we are not channeling a being. Okay, here's what the difference is when you are channeling a being. If an interdimensional being or multidimensional being or extraterrestrial being, if you allow yourself to be a channel to that, that energy, that being comes directly into your body. Your posture may change, the shape of your face can change, the way you speak, the intonation of your voice can change. All kinds of things change. So that is not you being a conduit for just energy. That is you being a conduit for another being to step into your physical avatar and speak through you. Now, that is not something that I do, and that is not something that I have ever done. And the reason for that is because I am such an open conduit. That's not something that I am willing to experience or take a chance on. Now, some people feel that all people that channel, meaning pulling in another being into your body and letting them speak through your voice, through your mouth, is evil, is corrupt, is negative, is etc., etc., etc. You guys have probably or maybe heard this before. The thing is, that's not the case. You can tell when you read a channeling, maybe using your discernment, whether that is information that is for you, whether that is information that is positive, whether that is information however you view that polarity. Now, here's the thing about channeling. If you were to open yourself up to channel another energy, okay, let's say you decide that's something that you want to do, you have to be extremely, extremely clear about who you want to speak with, what information you want to pull through, what that entity, that other energies information is, what their agenda is, and a whole host of other things. That is why I choose not to do it. This is something I've brought up before, but let's say you lay down and go into meditation and a being shows up to you and says, I'm Jesus, I want to give you a message. A lot of people will jump in and say, yes, yes, yes. But I encourage everyone to never say yes. And here's the reason why I encourage you not to say yes to this. A being that understands, facilitates, and respects the boundary of free will never come to you and say, I am Jesus, I am Ashtar, I am Mary Mother, I am whatever. That energy will show up to you. You will feel a presence. If it's an important message, that energy will hang out with you for days. When you know this energy shows up, you ask that person, you can ask that person who they are, or you can treat it however you want, but there needs to be some sort of like a vetting process. Now, for me, my vetting process is not asking who that person is. I don't care who that person is. That's like if someone reaches out to me in Messenger and it's a stranger, but they have a legitimate question or a legitimate concern or something they want to express to me, I let them do it regardless of whether they're a stranger or not. But the thing is, with this energy coming to you and wanting to speak to you, that energy will come to you. And this is how I do it. When I notice there's an energy here, I will say, I notice an energy in a presence, and I will not speak. I will not communicate, and I will not share energy with anyone who doesn't meet the following criteria. So do it how you want. But if Jesus or Ashtar or Archangel Michael or anybody other than your higher self shows up and just starts talking, that person is not who they say they are. And the whole reason we've been working on this discernment for the last couple of years is so that we know better when these energies show up to us. You know, even your friends can show up to you telepathically. You might recognize the energy. You might say, I'd love to speak to you right now. You might say, no, I'm not ready to speak to you right now. But it's your free will and your choice. So if someone is in your energy field, you simply ask, is someone here? Do you have a message for me? And I keep it really simple and basic. I say, I will not communicate or share energy with anybody that is not for the best outcome of my life and the planet. I will not speak to anyone that is not of the light, that goes against free will, and that is not here for planetary liberation. Now, this has happened a couple times, guys. That's why I'm telling you. And there's so much confusion about I, Tina, am a channel versus I am channeling something outside of me. I don't do that. Even when I have had Ashtar, Michael, a whole host of other people come to me, that comes through in writing or pictures or images or words. It doesn't come through as talking. So your body is a channel. You are a conduit of light on planet Earth, pulling in the light, because Ascension is a community project. So just never, use your own discernment. Don't let people tell you. I don't think that all channeling is negative, but I think that we're at a place in Ascension where so many people are excited about incoming information, and so many people are excited about being that open channel and that open conduit that they say yes without checking. And like I said, I don't care who the person is. I only care what is the reason that energy or that being is showing up to you. Again, anybody that has a message will be in your energy field, will be silent. They speak when spoken to. That is the free will agreement. Now, there's all kinds of beings. I'm not saying a being is not speaking to you, but there are lots of beings who would like to show up and give messages that you don't need and that the planet doesn't need as a whole. So I wanted to, hopefully, I cleared a little bit of that up for you. And on a very similar note, I want to talk about telepathic communication and how telepathy affects you. Now, I think this has been going around for a while, that telepathic communication is only between twin flames. Now, we have to kind of really disregard old information, right? Because things that were true in the past are not true at this stage of ascension anymore. So if 10 years ago, the only way or the only person you would have telepathic communication with would be your twin, that doesn't mean that's the case now, because so many people are having all of their gifts turned on. The telepathy is one of those things. Now, we all do this unintentionally. We sit around and we might be thinking about someone to the point where thinking doesn't always pull another person's energy in, doesn't always pull another person's engagement in. But what happens is, let's say I'm sitting around thinking about someone. If I'm just thinking about someone, it might not be that strong. If I start thinking about someone, and I get all this motion or like energy in my heart center, guess what that does? That sends it to that person. Now, I can't see it sending it to that person like I can if I was going to use a message, right, on Facebook or Telegram. But my thoughts about you, combined with my heart energy, sends it through to you at the speed of instant messaging, okay? So this is going on with lots of people, and there's lots of ways that we react to this. Now, I've noticed, and you might have to see what resonates in this for you, because we go through different things at different stages. That's why I am so set on never being set on being right, and never being set on this happens this way, because things happen in shifts. So initially, when I started to get telepathic, when someone wanted to connect with me telepathically, originally for me, it was Ashtar and Archangel Michael. When they wanted to communicate, it would start in a noise as the left ear and a little bit of slight dizziness. And I remember several times being in the car and saying, okay, I know something's coming. You got to wait till I'm not driving. I cannot do this and drive. But I was actually carrying a pen and a paper because it was happening a whole lot in the car. But initially, telepathic communication off planet would come in my left ear. And it would always be experienced through my left ear. Now, that was 2013. It's not that way anymore. And that's why I'm saying always take what resonates and always share with people how it's happening to you. Now, since I started hearing solar storms, which I think started in about 2017, let's say we have a solar flare 5 minutes from now. I hear it when it leaves the sun. It makes a whoosh noise, depending on how strong it is, how many times it reverberates in my right ear. But I can almost tell time of solar flares with that. So for me, cosmic energy, whether that's planetary movement, tectonic plate movement, oceanic movement, right? That comes in the right ear. When a person, a family member, someone is speaking to me, that telepathic connection comes through the left side and through the left ear. That's how I know one thing from another. And I'm left-handed, so it may be opposite for you. I haven't talked to anyone that has told me left ear versus right ear, solar flares, or cosmic energy versus friends and family, telepathic communication. Either way, I wanted to let you know, if I say that and to you it's coming in your right ear, you know better your body, and you know better your friends and family. You know better who is talking to you, who is expressing emotionality to you. So it doesn't have to be the same ear. I'm only telling you this so that I'm kind of just explaining how I noticed whether it was a friend talking to me or it was the sun talking to me. Now, initially, I did not know that, but so that's where we are in that. Now, so we're all amping up in gifts, and telepathy is being experienced on a much broader spectrum than ever in this cycle anyway, right now, right? So we're experiencing this with lots of people outside of the twin flame or soulmate connection. However, in the soulmate or twin flame connection, it can happen in both. It's happened to me with both, guys. Depending on the extremity of it, whether you can tell what that soul to soul connection is for you. And it doesn't matter. I'm just doing this so it makes more sense what I'm about to tell you. So the first time this happened, I was talking to someone back and forth on Messenger, and this person started to be really negative and really disagreeable. And my higher self started coming through with other fractals of my being. One of those fractals is is Mary Magdalene and also Athena coming through saying, you are powerful, you are love, you don't need this from this other person. So while this was going on, right before I hung up, I walked over to the mirror and I just had started to lift weights, to like release that energy from that other person, and immediately got off the phone with them. And while I was lifting weights, I got really super close up to the mirror and I looked into my pupils, and my pupils were twice the size that they normally are. And so this is not something that happens to me on a very regular basis at all. But I do know that there are many things that can influence your pupils, and that's one of the things I made a really short video about today. So the strength of the soul to soul connection depends on what the experience is within your pupils. Now, I make my videos at a certain time of day for a certain reason, and I'm not going to tell you why I do that. But what I am trying to avoid is a certain person watching me live, because what happens in that situation is my pupils take over half of my eyes, and then I get so many messages about what's going on with your pupils. Is everything anyway? So if someone is watching after the fact, it doesn't do anything to my eyes, obviously, but certain people and certain connections dilate my eyes like I'm at the eye doctor. Okay. So there's something about these connections that's really eye-opening. What do they do to you when you're at an eye exam, right? To look at you, to look at your eyes, to see what's going on, to give you that exam, they dilate your eyes so that they can see better. Okay. So this person is dilating your eyes so that you can see more in reality, not just this reality, but multidimensional reality, especially within that soul to soul bond, that super strong twin flame soulmate thing. Okay. Your eyes react to that in a way that is amazing. So on my birthday, not this year, last year on my birthday, my family was coming over, and I don't wear makeup very often. And when I do, I don't wear much makeup. As you guys probably know, I make a lot of videos without makeup. But anyway, I thought, I hardly ever have company. I should at least go put mascara and lipstick on. And I'm standing in front of the mirror, and I started hearing someone talk to me. And as plain as day, it's like I picked up the phone and put them on speakerphone while I'm sitting here doing my mascara, right? And I hear this person talking to me, and I walk away. I go to the kitchen to get a drink of water. I'm walking around. I'm doing something. I've got, one eye done, right? And I'm like, oh, my family's going to be here in a few minutes. I'll go back in there. So I go back into the bathroom. I'm looking at myself, but I'm not looking at me like it's me. I'm looking at me how that other person sees me. So it was like I was looking back at myself through the mirror, how that other person sees me. And I was also hearing what that other person's thoughts of me were. And this was one of the most profound experiences I've had in my entire life, even without what I noticed in my pupils. So I walk away, I come out here into the kitchen, I start stirring the soup. I go back into the mirror, and I'm thinking, that's weird. I wonder if someone was really talking to me. Am I making this up? What's going on here, right? Just another day in the house of Tina. So I go back in the bathroom, and I'm like, wow, I don't know if that person was talking to me, but that was so sweet. There was like the nicest string of things anyone's ever said to me in my life. And then as I go back to finish putting my mascara on, I get closer to the mirror, and I notice that my pupils are double their normal size. But not only that, the pupil was in the shape of a hexagon and not a circle. And I spent the next 10 minutes in the window trying to get an up-close selfie of my eyeball because I didn't think that anybody was going to believe me. Now, the reason that I'm telling you this is to throw a little bit of Aquarian logic into our soup mix of the ascension process. This telepathic communication, this telepathic conversation with deep soul to soul connections can and will expand your pupils so that you can see more, just like when you're at the eye doctor. So you can see more, so you can experience more through your eyes. And the shape of your eye will change. And like I said, this has been going on for me for a while. And every time it happens, you better believe that I'm standing in the most light that I can get, standing under my window in my apartment, trying to get an up close view so that I can take a picture of what my pupil looks like. And it never ever it never shows up. I can never ever get it to show up. You can see that they're enlarged, but when that energy is coming from that other person that strongly, that soul to soul connection, my energy is really not compatible with the phone or electronics very well at all. So your body's eyes react to telepathic communication. Your body's ears, as I said, whether that's telepathy from the sun, the cosmos, other planets, telepathy from your friends and family, your loved ones, you can get this telepathy affects your eyes, the pupils, the dilation, the shape, the change of the shape, and they stay like that for a while. And I've even noticed when I feel someone's energy and I'm like, oh, I know who that is, I'll go look in the mirror. So part of the logical Aquarian part, the reason I'm throwing this out there is if you think, you know what, I feel like someone's talking to me telepathically. No, I must be, hallucinating. No, I must be crazy, whatever. When that conversation is over, look at your eyes in the mirror and how your eyes have changed. So it affects the eyes, it affects the ears, and it affects the skin as well. Telepathy can affect your skin. You have cold flashes or hot flashes. You may go from hot to cold. You may feel like someone is running their fingers. When I had telepathic communication, when I was looking in the mirror, it was like I could feel that person with their hand on my face. Now, I doubt someone's looking at my picture thinking about rubbing their hand down my face or through my hair, but if and when they are, I'm telling you, I can feel it and you can too. And the skin one's a little bit more strange because with the ears, I think most of you know it's some sort of message or incoming communication. With the eyes, I'm not sure how many people knew about that, but the skin as well, goosebumps, hot flashes, cold, you can feel like someone's running their fingers down you. You can feel like a light mist or a light rain is on you as well. So I wanted to share that with you too. Now, I want to tell you about a little experience that I had a couple of days ago. I'm doing this and doing that, right? I do Qigong, I do yoga, I run, I walk, whatever, swimming, active, very, very active, very into the life of self. And that's why I can be a clear conduit to assist other people. I don't watch TV. I do watch YouTube. I'm to the point where I don't even scroll social media anymore. That keeps me a clear channel. But you can go overboard with things too, right? A lot of meditation, a lot of talking to the body, a lot of telling my body what to do, telling my cells what to do, all this stuff, right? This amazing healing process is the reason I was talking to my body. I've had so many things as far as emotionality, but as far as physicality as well, to heal within myself, as we all do. And I was walking and I was thinking, man, what else can I possibly do. I make my own food from scratch. I'm doing all this physical activity. I'm positive affirmations, to self-talk, cutting negativity out of my life at any phase that I can, everything to give myself an environment. And somehow in that, sometimes I was actually overstimulating myself by telling myself what to do. And this was so funny, but I was out walking, and I asked, what else can I do? And the answer was, be you. It's so funny. This car drove by, the license plate said, be you. Like, just chill out, Tina. Chill the heck out. And the same thing happened to me a couple days ago when I was doing yoga. Like, I put my hands up, over my head, and I said something. And it was just like, it just came to me like, I don't need to say anything. How many hours a day do I need to program or reprogram my body? Just breathe and just relax. So, yeah, when I'm doing yoga, that would be a really good time to breathe in the new possibility of me and breathe out any of the past energy that may be causing a concern physically, emotionally, energetically. Now you guys' comments finally came back. Hello, Renee. Hello, Carly. As soon as I look down, you disappear. Christina, hi. Hi, Christina. So, yeah, we have to relax. It's such an exciting time with the ascension process, and it's such an exciting time, watching all of these amazing things happening. ATMs not working, bank automation not working, online stuff not working, because the 3D is crumbling. The 3D aspect, as far as what no longer serves humanity in the third dimension, is what is crumbling. So we want to know what's going on with the banks. We want to know what's going on with everything. But the thing that I've been let in on a couple of days ago was this. It is exciting. And the energy from the sun and the central sun and the grand central sun and the cosmos is firing us up, right? It's firing everything within ourselves. We're getting excited. So we already have lots of excitement. And then we subject ourselves to, what's going on with currency reevaluation, what's going on in the world of tarot with people who do worldly predictions and stuff like that. But I was very, very graciously shown that we are overstimulating ourselves, because all of these things that are affecting our cellular change and our cellular growth on the ascension path are firing us up. They're getting us very excited, which that excitement then, especially through the central area of your body, is directly affecting in a very magnificent way your central nervous system without any external homework or research. So the things going on in your own life, your soul to soul connections, the cosmic energy, the solar flares, the earthquakes, all of these things are altering our DNA. They're turning us on. They're bringing us wisdom. And that is kind of shaking the central nervous system, and the central nervous system has to adjust. Now, I never, ever suggest that I'm always right about anything, but I saw that the central nervous system of the body of so many of us on the first lines of ascension were getting so excited about external information that the nervous system is getting a little bit of an overload. So yeah, the central nervous system is greatly being affected by all these changes. And it's not anything the body couldn't handle, or we wouldn't be here at this beautiful time for this beautiful ascension process. However, when you start noticing that you're getting a little bit shaky, right? you're getting overloaded, you're giving yourself sometimes like a system overload. You're really literally giving yourself a system overload. Now, you should be able to feel this. The central nervous system will make you nervous, will make you feel like you're overstimulated, like too much coffee. So I'm not saying don't research, period, but I'm saying at times of external overstimulation, maybe take a break from especially holding your cell phone. Because just the cosmic energy or the external energy and the soul to soul connections can be giving and delivering and bringing and magnetizing to you so much. That's a good time to step out away from the external, you know, reevaluation of currencies, or alien agenda or whatever else, the stock market, whatever it is that's your external fix in the 3D as far as reading, watching, or listening. Yeah. And so I don't mean don't listen to music, don't run listening to music. I'm talking about external information. I've been listening to string music, violin, cello, guitar for 3 days. I don't know why, but I've noticed an incredible gift that string instruments give in calming the nervous system. I didn't think I was going to be able to run to classical music listening to string instruments. It's a little bit too relaxing. Nevertheless, I was running with it. So string instruments very, very greatly reduce that overload within the central nervous system. Last thing, second to last thing, I lied. It'll never happen again. 2 things left here. And it's not going to be an hour and 20 minutes, I hope. Okay. So I was talking to Rachel a couple of days ago, and we were talking about crazy things like Earth going backwards, like turning to counterclockwise instead of clockwise, or maybe sometimes it's clockwise. And maybe I love the fact that I can talk to someone like her and the rest of you when you guys reach out to me, where you can just say anything. Because when you're open and you can say anything and that other person can say anything, you will be blown away at just how you will not only connect to your higher self, but you will connect to that other person's higher self and vice versa. That's what happened in this conversation. So we're talking about, Mars and Mercury retrograde at the beginning of this video. So I'm talking to Rachel, and we're talking maybe the world is going to start going counterclockwise, because I had received a message about that in 2019. I had also had visions where an earthquake had come from the core of the earth, and it had caused the ocean waves to start at the shore and go out into the ocean. A lot of things like that. So when we started talking about this, is there a possibility that Earth retrogrades? Because when they talk about Mercury retrograding, they say, oh, well, technically Mercury's not going backwards. Is it Earth going backwards? Because I tell you what, you tell me that it doesn't feel like for the last 2 weeks that Earth has gone backwards. Did your old relationships, maybe your old fears, maybe your old joys. It's both sides of polarity. It doesn't have to be negative or positive, but I swear, I really swear, I feel like it's Earth going retrograde and not, and maybe the other planets are dancing along in this happy little retrograde. I don't know. But this is just what came out when Rachel and I were talking. And I swear it feels like we were. It seems like people go backwards into whatever's on your mind. But I swear it feels like to me that Earth is the one that goes backwards. Now think about that. If we changed our spin of Earth from clockwise to counterclockwise, that would change your energy. Even if you didn't know it, you would feel like the world was backwards. And I'm telling you, I'm God, they don't tell us half of anything. It just, sometimes it makes me want to study astrology and astronomy and all these other things, but there's so many things they leave out of the puzzle. So sometimes I feel like I do much better just letting my imagination go without having that scientific background. So I never say no to myself. And that definitely brings in more energy and more information than trying to try to understand by study. We have so many people that are so excited, that are so overjoyed, that are so overstimulated in the nervous system for this very reason. And that's why I wanted to mention it to you. So does Earth retrograde? Please comment. I would like to know your thoughts on, does the Earth retrograde? I think it does. Something is going on. Something is really, really going on. And if Earth was going backwards, God, wouldn't that explain so much? It would explain so much. If I went backwards right now, look where I would be. I would be sitting on the shelf with a self-portrait of a friend. The last thing that I want to say to you is this. People are super focused on, why did I come here? What am I doing? What's my job? What's my mission? Your mission is important, and your mission is whatever you feel called to do. But there isn't one big mission. So the mission this week may be to heal the self of the cold. The mission for February may be something completely different. It may be a community project, okay? That community project is going to lead to another community project. That community project that leads to a community project could lead to sustainable housing. I'm saying one mission continually leads you to another mission. So first thing, you can relax the nervous system because you didn't come here to do one thing, okay? Mission is an all-encompassing, ever-changing, directional flow of you assisting yourself to a higher version of you, you assisting yourself to a higher timeline, and you assisting me and everyone else on this planet to a higher version of what it is to live on this planet. And that energy that we send out into the atmosphere, out into the cosmos, and out from the universe to the multiverse, to the omniverse, okay? That's your mission, ever changing. Whatever you feel like your mission is today, that's your mission. And the other thing is, by looking at your north and south node, you can see what you're comfortable with, where you're talented, what you've already learned, established, your growth, and the new direction that you need to go in, which is the exact opposite. But that doesn't narrow down your mission because, for example, the mission of somebody with a Taurus North Node is to feel into what makes you happy. Now, that's not it, but that's a basic gist of it. So that means you don't have to sit around and rack your brain and your nervous system about what you're supposed to be doing. It's anything that is serving a higher timeline for you and this planet and all of humanity. And it's not written in stone. And it does change. It is ever changing and ever morphing into something more beautiful. The more you allow the flow, the more beautiful it becomes. And the last thing, above all, above your mission to assist yourself to a higher timeline or this planet or change the energy out into the omniverse, the biggest way we do that and the biggest thing we came to do here and the biggest mission we have is to be in joy. Because no matter what you're doing, if you're not in joy, everything in life becomes a burden. I'm doing a job I don't like, that's a burden. I'm in a relationship I don't like, that's a burden. How many burdens can you carry on your back before you have a meltdown or a tower moment, right? So we all have responsibilities. And I'm not saying to negate, disrupt, or totally disregard your 3D responsibilities. What I'm saying is, if you cannot do those responsibilities or those contracts, whatever those things are for you, enjoy, it's time to make a new contract for you. It's time to shift into a new timeline to you. It's time to shift into a higher version of you. And the reason for that is our biggest mission, the one that really matters, no matter what multiple missions we decide to take on along the way, is to be in joy. Because the energy of everything, my energy if I'm running and I'm not in joy, my energy is way different than I'm running when I'm in joy, when I'm conversation, when I'm doing videos, anything I'm doing. So my my relationships, my job, my exercise routine, my video making, my writing, everything that I do, I do it in the way that is most joyous for me, for my body, for my soul, for my spiritual experience. And the reason is when I do my mission in joy, that's when you really, really become a powerful light body in this avatar. If you're doing a mission because you think, I came to work, this certain job, or someone told me, or I had a past life regression or whatever, and I'm doing this thing, but it's not doing joy. Again, we have third dimensional responsibilities. But those responsibilities can be done with joy. When I do dishes, I'm joyous. When I do laundry, I'm joyous. When I'm out there shoveling snow, I'm joyous. And that's the way I am. That's not something I say for a video. That's honestly just the way I am. That is what we came here to do. We came here to be in joy. And if you are doing things where you can't be joyous, then change what you're doing. Change your perspective on your life. Because the biggest mission we came here to accomplish is personal joy. And that personal joy alters the planet, purifies the planet, transforms the planet more than anything else you could do on paper or in a video or in a blog. And that's the truth. And that is why I insist on exercising before every tarot reading I do. That's why I insist on exercising and walking, pulling in that clarity of what needs to be said here every time before I come on camera. That is why I never make a video before 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Joy is your mission. Be in joy. Thank you for being here. Thank you for love. Thank you for your support. And when I rewatch this video later, hour and 7 minutes, 27 seconds, I will see your comments that you left. I appreciate those comments, even though I can't see them and can't read them most of the time, because that is you showing me love. That is you showing me energy. And that really helps me, because when I started doing this, I was a nervous wreck, and I'm getting better. That's because of your love and your support and me being in joy to bring this to you. I love you. Until next time, don't overload your system. Be in joy.